in Florida to win over Hispanic voters. Florida is among the 4 states in this country with the largest Hispanic populations. You have California, New York, and Texas as the other 3. Together, those 4 states account for more than half of all electoral votes needed to be elected presidents. It's a very big deal. Both Republicans and Democrats want votes from the Hispanic community, consequently. So how are the parties courting these voters? We're going to take a closer look at this. Simon Rosenberg, the president and founder of NDN, who has advised the Democratic Party on how to reach out to Latino voters, and Bettina Inclon, director of Hispanic Outreach for the Republican National Committee. Welcome to you both. And Bettina, let's go ahead and start with you first. We talk about winning over the Hispanic vote in Florida, and I'm wondering if we're too quick to generalize. Is the Hispanic vote in Florida the same as the Hispanic vote in Texas and California and otherwise?
No. The Hispanic vote in general, it's a very diverse community. They were not monolithic. And in Florida, it's very unique. Miami, South Florida, Central Florida have 2 very different Hispanic communities, but they all have one thing in common, especially one thing in common this election cycle. They're focused on the economy.
And Simon, how do you think the Democrats have done reaching out to the voters in that community and talking about jobs specifically when it comes to Hispanic voters?
Well, right now, according to 4 national polls taken with Latinos in the last few weeks, Barack Obama is holding his 2008 numbers. Mitt Romney is far below the numbers that John McCain in 2008. And I think the conventional wisdom is, the Latino vote has been upset with the Republicans because of escalated rhetoric in recent years and the attacks that they've seen on their community. I think the Democrats feel pretty good that they're going to do very well this cycle, and I think Mitt Romney is going to have a tough time winning back the ground that they've lost in recent years. He's run a very anti-immigrant, anti-Latino race so far. I think he's going to struggle in the general election.
Bettina, would you categorize Mitt Romney that way?
No, I think it's easy to deflect on Obama's record, but he has no record to run on with the Hispanic community. Everything he's talked about, he's failed. There's high unemployment in the Latino community. There's more people living in poverty, and Hispanics in general are very disappointed. If we look at Florida, his approval rating has dipped 11 points since he won in 2008. And general Hispanics, 6 in 10 believe that the economy is on the wrong track, and this president has not fulfilled on his promises.
Bettina, let me ask you the same question I asked Simon then. How do Republicans go out and do the right sort of outreach? So Politico has a big article on how the president is custom tailoring his message to the Hispanic community. How do Republicans answer that?
Right. Well, I'm very excited to be part of the Republican National Committee. Recently, Chairman Priebus announced a new enhanced effort to connect with Hispanics throughout this country. We are going to have boots on the ground in some key states like Florida, Nevada, Colorado, New Mexico, among some others. And we're also doing a very strong communications efforts in English and Spanish, and social media campaigns and the text campaign that you could text UNETE to 91919. These multifaceted efforts could make sure that we're connecting with Hispanics throughout the country.
Let me get to that custom tailored message that Politico is talking about, Simon. Basically said, listen, if you look at the facts, the president, or under this administration, there's been a record number of deportations. But just recently, as recent as August, there's also been the announcement that the administration was going to review hundreds of thousands of deportations and table some of them indefinitely. And some are suggesting, of course, critics of the administration, that this is just, pandering to them now in order to get the Hispanics on the side of the administration. Talk to me a little bit about that potentially as a strategy, and how even another side could combat that if you're in the seat of power.
Well, I think the president is getting a lot of credit for having tried very hard to fix the broken immigration system. He's been blocked repeatedly by Republicans in the Congress to have enacted a bill that John McCain originally introduced back in 2005 and was supported by George Bush, then President Bush. And I think what's happened is that in the absence of that legislative progress, the administrations had to focus on one-off administrative fixes to make the immigration system better. We have a terrible immigration system in the country. Everybody agrees with that. All the viewers, I think, on Fox would agree with that. The question is, how do we make it better? And I think the president's going to be able to run for re-election in 2012 saying he's made the border safer, the immigration system better, and that we've seen expanded trade with Mexico. He's got a strong record here, and this is where I disagree with Bettina. I think the actions that he's taken in recent months is showing his commitment to continue, despite legislative opposition, to make the system better.
Bettina?
No, this president has failed completely in immigration. He promised his first year, when he was running for president, he promised in his first year he would address immigration. We are 3 years later, and he has done absolutely nothing to do with immigration. He hasn't proposed a plan. He talks a good game, but he hasn't done anything to address the system. He's deported more immigrants than any president in U.S. history, and Hispanics are going to keep him accountable. You can't just go into the Hispanic community and promise a bunch of things and then not fulfill your promises and blame other people for your